Hello and welcome everyone. Today's video features the brand new introduction into World of Warships, the brand new German Tier 10 steel destroyer Z-42. The Z-42 is described in-game as being a variant of the 1936 B destroyer project, and unlike other ships in the series, she is armed with dual-purpose main battery guns consisting of twin 105mm gun mounts. 5 of these mounts, 10 guns in total. Now the Z-42 will be available in the armory for 27,000 steel when update 12.1 goes live. The same price as the Ragnar, which is also 27,000 steel. Now this new addition to the Kriegsmarine can be compared to a souped up Z-52, although the Z-52 does have a larger gun caliber. You get 4 more guns than the Z-52. The Z-42 now does differ a little bit in terms of playstyle, and that comes down to its consumables. You have access to the short burst smoke generator, which is more usually found on the Royal Navy destroyers. This quick burst or short burst smoke generator, it allows for more hit and run tactics in game and is quite useful combined with long range German hydro. But first let me put up the recommended build. As you can see here, I'm using the hydro mod in slot 2. If you're short of coal, I would recommend using engine room protection. I'm using the propulsion mod in slot 4 and the reload mod main battery modification 3 in slot 6. I am using the Gunther Lutschen's captain. You can see the applicable bonuses to grease the gears and preventive maintenance. Now I am using a radiolocation build. I am actively trying to hunt down and combat enemy destroyers. You will see variations in build, but this does seem to work for me quite nicely. So now that we've covered the build, let me just quickly go through the ship's main stats in more detail. In terms of armor layout, it's pretty basic. Fore-end plating, side plating, rear plating, and deck plating is all 19mm. The superstructure gets 13mm, while the main gun turrets get an all-round protection of 15mm of armor plating. So nothing too exciting on the armor front. It's your basic DD fare. When it comes to survivability, the Z-42 gets 23,200 hit points. Now this is marginally less than the Z-52, but only slightly, which clocks in at 23,800. So that is only a difference of 600 HP. The main differences start to appear when we look at the main artillery. Instead of the Z-52's 128mm, the Z-42 gets these 105mm guns, 10 in total in 5 twin-mounted turrets, 2 fore and 3 aft. Now with this exact build, these main battery guns have a reload time of 3.8 seconds. They have a turret rotation time of 17.2 seconds for 180 degrees. They have a max dispersion of 102 meters with a max firing range of 12.6 kilometers. Now you get 2 shell types. You get high explosive with a max damage of 1200, a little bit on the low side, and a fire chance with both fire flags of 6. Also feels a little bit on the low side. Now you get 26mm of penetration with these HE shells, and they have a shell speed of 900 meters per second. The other shell type is armor piercing. They have the exact same shell speed of 900 meters per second with a max damage of 2,300. Now these armor piercing shells are quite effective at close to medium range, but the penetration does drop off quite dramatically at long range, long or max range. Now I have found these guns to perform quite well. The HE does feel a little bit underwhelming. The fire chance does seem a little bit lacking, but the high rate of fire combined with large number of shells, 10 every 3.8 seconds, it's down to RNG whether you're going to set fires or not. Any opportunity should be taken advantage of when using armor piercing, especially against broadside destroyers. Very, very effective indeed. Quite possible to land 5k salvos. The same goes for broadside cruisers. The fore-end sections and aft-end sections of battleships are particularly vulnerable. You're also quite capable of landing 5k salvos on these spots, but primarily into the superstructures and upper belts of battleships. The armor piercing can then feel quite rewarding. When it comes to torpedoes, the Z-42 gets 2 X4 launchers. They are both centrally mounted that can be used on either side. These torpedoes have a max firing range of 10 kilometers. They can inflict a max damage of 13,700. They have a torpedo speed of 62 knots and can be detected at 1.3 kilometers. And they have a reload time of 100 seconds with this build. So standard damage German torpedoes. When it comes to depth charges, you get 2 charges, each dropping 8 bombs. These bombs have a max damage of 2200. I do feel I must point out that this is half the number of depth charges dropped by the Z-52 for some reason. They have cut the number of bombs per charge by 50%, but the damage remains the same. In terms of AA defense, the Z-42 gets an AA defense rating of 66. Z-42 gets 3 of these quad-mounted 30mm, 4 twin-mounted 37mm, and the main battery 105 gun caliber. These 10 105mm guns also are dual purpose and serve as AA. All combined, they pump out a continuous average damage of 239, the vast majority of which is long range, in that 3.5 to 5.2 kilometer range. Z-42 can fire 5 flak explosions with a max damage of 1540. It has a priority sector reinforcement of 35%, and the max firing range of these guns is 5.2 kilometers, which is also less than the Z-52's 5.8, so a reduction in the max firing range down to 5.2 kilometers. In terms of maneuverability, the Z-42 gets a base speed of 36.5 knots. Now you can increase this with Sierra Mike to 38.3, and you do also have access to the engine boost of 8%, which brings this above 41 knots. The turning circle radius of the Z-42 is 670 meters, and with this build, the rudder shift time is 4.4 seconds. So finally, stats-wise, in terms of concealment, the Z-42 gets a concealment rating of 95, and with a full stealth build including both upgrade and captain skill, you can reduce this down to 6.2 kilometers. Not the most stealthy of the tier 10 gunboats, quite a few clock in at 6 kilometers, but having access to 6 kilometer hydro means it doesn't take much time to close the distance from your detection range to your actual hydroacoustic search range. So finally, stats-wise, your detectability from enemy submarines and enemy aircraft is 2.8 kilometers. So this is the Z-42, the brand new steel destroyer. Now, clocking in at 27,000 steel, it's the exact same price as the Ragnar. Now, unfortunately, I don't think it matches the Ragnar in terms of quality. It does feel like an improved version of the Z-52, but 27,000 steel does seem to be a high asking price. That being said, I would probably give this Z-42 a solid 6.5 out of 10. I wouldn't class it in the same bracket as the Ragnar if given the choice between the Ragnar and the Z-42 with only 27,000 steel in my wallet. I would still be going for the Ragnar, as this is an outstanding destroyer. That being said, Z-42, it does perform quite well. The combination, its real strength is the combination of its long distance hydro and the short burst smoke generator. This, when used correctly and employing the correct tactics, is a very strong combination indeed. Just allowing for that hit and go tactic, which is very, very strong when it comes to destroyer play. Your armor piercing against destroyers is particularly deadly. Being able to land potentially a 5k salvo under 4 seconds is very, very crippling to enemy DDs, and you'll be surprised at how quickly they can melt. The HE, however, if employed, does feel a little weak at times. The fire chance can seem a little bit underwhelming. That being said, high rate of fire, short burst action smoke screens, and quite effective armor piercing shells does make the Z-42 quite dangerous in close quarters. And you should be very, very wary of getting caught in its smoke and hydro trap, as you will die very, very quickly indeed. So this is the Z-42. I hope you enjoyed this quick little review and enjoyed the remaining gameplay. As I already stated, the Z-42 will be available in the armory for 27,000 steel and will go live as soon as update 12.1 hits the live servers. So if you'd like to see some more live gameplay, feel free to come over and visit me on Twitch. You can see the link here on screen. I look forward to seeing you all.
Torpedoes astern. Torpedoes astern. All stations, concentrate fire on the target. Torpedoes, dead ahead. Get back! Get back! Battle ends in 5 minutes.
I need intelligence data.
Smoke generator started. Smoke screen set.
Enemy cruiser detected. Enemy battleship sighted.
Enemy destroyer foundered. Our team depends upon you.
Engine boost activated. Smoke generator started. Smoke screen set. Engine boost deactivated. Critical engine damage. Problem solved, sir.
like to thank you once again all for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more. Take a moment to check out some of my most recent videos and leave a comment below. And until the next time, keep sailing it like you stole it.